The bass from the speakers was still thumping in my chest when I realized Sarah wasn't beside me anymore. 1 minute she was laughing at something my boss said, her hand light on my arm. The next she was gone, like someone had reached into the crowd and simply lifted her out of the night. I told myself she'd stepped outside for air. The ballroom was hot, the air thick smell of cologne and champagne pressing in, and she'd been drinking those stupid neon cocktails all evening. I circled the room twice, checking the balcony, the bathrooms, the little clusters of people pretending they weren't already half drunk. Nothing. By 1:30 the party was thinning and my phone still showed no messages from me to her that sat unread. I drove home alone, windows down, December air slicing through the car, trying to convince myself she'd taken an Uber with Jenna from accounting or crashed at her sister's. Anything but the cold knot forming in my stomach. She wasn't on the couch when I walked in. The house felt too quiet, the Christmas tree lights blinking like they were trying to tell me something I didn't want to hear. I called her 3 times. Straight to voicemail. At 4:07 a.m. I finally fell asleep on top of the covers, still wearing my shoes. Morning came gray and hungover. My phone buzzed on the nightstand, unknown number. Mr. Carter? This is Louise from building security. Your wife left something in the office last night. We think you should come see it yourself. I was there in 20 minutes, still in yesterday's shirt. Luis looked like he hadn't slept either. He led me past the holiday decorations in the lobby that now felt obscene, and into the little windowless room behind the reception desk. A single monitor glowed on the desk. He didn't sit. He just pressed play and stepped back like the screen might bite him. Grainy hallway footage, time-stamped 11:42 p.m. Sarah. Unmistakable in the red dress I'd watched her zip up 6 hours earlier, walking unsteadily past the elevators. Then Derek from sales, the one with the 2 white teeth and the handshake that lasts half a second too long, catching up to her. His hand on the small of her back. Her head tilting into his shoulder like it belonged there. They stopped at the supply closet nobody uses. He keyed in the code. The door closed behind them. The camera caught 37 minutes of nothing but the empty hallway and the muffled thump of the party music from downstairs. When the door opened again, Sarah's hair was loose, lipstick gone, one strap of her dress hanging off her shoulder. Derek smoothed his shirt, looked both ways, and kissed her once more before they walked toward the elevator separately. I watched it 3 times. Each loop carved something deeper. My lungs forgot how to work properly. Luis kept clearing his throat like he was the one who needed to apologize. "You want the file?" he asked quietly. I nodded because my voice was somewhere else. He burned it to a thumb drive and handed it over like it was radioactive. "There's audio from the stairwell too if you need more." He couldn't look at me. I didn't remember the drive home. Sarah was in the kitchen when I walked in, hair wet from the shower, wearing my old college hoodie like nothing had happened. She smiled, small, cautious. "Hey, I am so sorry about last night. I drank way too much and Jenna said I could crash at." "Stop." The word scraped out of me. I set the thumb drive on the counter between us like evidence in a trial. Her eyes flicked to it, then to me, and I saw the exact second the lie died in her throat. "Ethan," she started. "Don't say my name like that." My voice shook. "Not after you let him put his hands on you in a closet that smells like toner and desperation." Color drained from her face. She reached for me and I stepped back so hard I hit the fridge. Magnets scattered across the floor. Little plastic memories from trips we'd taken when touching her still felt like winning the lottery. "How long?" I asked. The question tasted metallic. She pressed her lips together, tears already starting. When she spoke it was barely a whisper. "4 months. 4 months. While I was working late to get the mortgage paid off early. While I was planning a surprise weekend in Vermont because she'd mentioned once offhand that she missed snow. While I was telling my mother Sarah was the best thing that ever happened to me." I laughed then, a sound I didn't recognize. "Was it good?" I heard myself ask. "In the closet, I mean. Romantic as hell, right?" "Ethan, please." "Please what?" "Understand? Forgive you because we've been together since we were 22 and you got bored." I picked up the thumb drive, rolled it between my fingers. "I keep thinking about how many times I kissed you after you'd been with him. How many times I told you I loved you while you were lying with his taste still in your mouth." She was fully crying now, arms wrapped around herself like she could hold everything in. I was going to end it. Last night was. Don't. I closed my fist around the drive so hard the plastic cracked. Don't tell me last night was goodbye. Don't insult me twice. The silence stretched until the refrigerator hummed like it was trying to fill the space where our life used to be. I looked at her, really looked. The tiny scar on her eyebrow from when we tried to skateboard drunk in college. The freckles across her nose I used to count when she fell asleep on my chest during Sunday movies. She was still the most beautiful person I'd ever seen, and that made it worse. I'm going to stay at my brother's, I said. My voice sounded far away, like someone else moving into my body. I'll come back for my stuff when you're at work. Ethan. She stepped forward, hands out. We can fix. There is no we anymore. The words cut my tongue on the way out. You made sure of that when you chose him over the life we built. I walked past her, down the hallway that still smelled like her coconut shampoo, and into the bedroom. I pulled the suitcase from the top shelf, the one we'd bought together for our honeymoon. As I threw clothes in, I caught our wedding photo on the dresser. We were laughing in the rain because the forecast had been wrong and neither of us cared. I turned it face down. Couldn't look at us happy when everything inside me was breaking. She stood in the doorway the whole time, crying silently, hands twisting the sleeves of my hoodie she used to steal because it smelled like me. I zipped the suitcase. The sound was too loud. At the door I paused. One last thing I needed to know, even if it killed me. Do you love him? Her answer took forever and no time at all. I don't know, she whispered. I think I just loved how he made me feel young again. Wanted. I nodded once, throat raw. Funny. I thought I was still doing that. I walked out without closing the door behind me. The cold hit my face and for the first time in 12 hours I could breathe, even if every breath felt like broken glass. Behind me I heard her sob, one wrecked, guttural sound that followed me all the way to the car. I sat in the driveway for a long time, thumb drive on the passenger seat like a loaded gun. Part of me wanted to smash it, pretend I'd never seen what I'd seen. But the rest of me knew the truth was already burned into my skull, playing on loop whether I watched it again or not. I started the engine. The Christmas lights on our house blinked merrily, same as always, like they hadn't just watched a marriage die. As I pulled away, I caught her silhouette in the doorway, small, shivering, holding herself together with both arms. I didn't wave. Didn't look back again. Some betrayals don't need shouting or slammed doors. They just leave a hole where everything used to be. And you spend the rest of your life learning how to live with the wind blowing through it. I drove into the gray morning with nothing but a cracked thumb drive and the sound of her crying chasing me down the street.